All right, good to be with you here on a Tuesday. Gators out. He'll be back tomorrow talking some Lions here as we get set for what is a massive, massive game-changing, perception-changing type football game Sunday against the LA Rams. You heard from Jared Goff in the first hour. Talked a little bit about how they've kind of adopted the attitude, if we keep scoring, they can't beat us. And, it's not what they want. He talked about that later in the interview, said, look, we want to play ahead. We hope our defense gets as many stops. But you can see sometimes during a game that it's going to be one of these shootout type games. And it feels like they're well equipped to win those type of games. But I'm not sure the Rams is the type of team that you want to keep getting into shootouts with. I guess they aren't going to keep getting into them. They just got to do it once and win the game. And maybe their defense, maybe pressure the quarterback enough. And the Rams have done a better job protecting Stafford than the Cowboys have protecting Dak Prescott when it comes to pressure rate, how often you get pressured on dropbacks. So, you're talking about, can they make Stafford uncomfortable and force some turnovers? 248-539-9797. Is this a sustainable way to win in the NFL? And if they win this game, do you feel like your perception of this season? Because I got to tell you, if they beat the Rams, I think we can talk about maybe being right back there in the mix as a Super Bowl contender. I look at it every year that there's no guarantees, right? There's a pool of teams when you go into the postseason. Who's amongst the pool of teams that really has a legitimate shot to win it all? And that's not every playoff team. But if they beat the Rams, it feels like the Lions will be back in that pool of teams that can win the whole thing. 248-539-9797.
So obviously the Lions, we think they're going to lean on their offense, and they have the firepower to do so. The injuries in the back half of the defense makes the defense, I don't think they're going to be a shutdown defense for the rest of the year. But what they can do is come up with timely turnovers and takeaways. And I think that's what they need to lean on is, obviously you want pressure on the quarterback, but you force them to make bad throws, force fumbles, momentum changes. I think that's where the defense needs to focus on, because they're just not going to be that shut you down 3 and out every time the other team gets on the field, especially with a team like the Rams too. So I think those timely turnovers, it's kind of like timely hitting in baseball, Doug. I don't need 10 hits, but if you give me 4 hits when runners are in scoring position, that's the difference.
Yeah, which is hard to, figure out how you dial those things up. But yes, they got to find a way to turn over Stafford, who's been taking care of the football this year. And the Rams are looking strong as hell. Lions got a little bit of a brief rest, finally, a long weekend after playing 3 games in 11 days. 248-539-9797. I did want to bring this up. I was stunned last night when I saw that the Colts had worked out Phillip Rivers. They worked out Phillip Rivers Monday. He is 44 years old. Here's the most amazing fact about this, is that the Colts have a 23-year-old quarterback named Riley Leonard, who will be their starter unless maybe they sign Phillip Rivers and he starts the Colts after losing Daniel Jones to a torn Achilles. Phillip Rivers' oldest child is his daughter, Haley, who is also 23 years old and 2 months and a week older than Riley Leonard. Phillip Rivers may sign with the Colts. And if he does sign with the Colts, he has a child older than the other quarterback in the room with him. Think about that for a second.
And I think he has enough kids to fill out the offensive side of the ball.
He's got 10 kids, right?
So one man short?
Yeah. He can quarterback them, and the kids can play all the
there
positions.
we go. Exactly.
But, kind of wild. What did you think when you saw that story, Kang?
I think what I thought was, does the NFL have a talent problem? Because this is not the first old man out of retirement.
Right.
The teams have been calling back. Like, obviously, we know Frank Ragnow here almost came back. But Jason Pierre-Paul, do you see with the Bucks? He might be signing with the Bucks. He's like 36, 37. He hasn't played in like 5 years. Brandon Graham is back. Last night on the broadcast, I don't know if you watched, Troy Aikman talked about Jason Kelsey coming back. These guys are all retired. Where are the players in this league?
Well, do they have a talent issue or do they have a injury issue? There's just but by all means, add an 18th game. They keep adding games. They have more like short turnarounds with Thursday games becoming a regular thing. And they had a Black Friday game, and we got Christmas games. Like, it feels like they are putting the players in terrible positions physically, and they're running out of players.
So call the oldest ones back?
The ones that are most susceptible to injury, you come back.
Senior discount in the NFL this week.
Feels like it. 248-539-9797. Let's get back to your open line calls. Bob is in Flint and next on 97.1. What's up, Bob?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Always enjoy your show.
Thank you.
My question is, my comment is more along the lines about the Lions. I mean, I understand where we're going with this, but here's the issue, and you just said the key word, injuries. I mean, it's Lions General Hospital right now with the amount of injuries we've had in the past 2 or 3 weeks. And if the Lions are going to do something special, you're right, the offense is going to have to really step it up. But the issue would be, are the Lions going to get healthy defensively if they can make the playoffs to make a difference? Because right now they're hurting. And let's face it, a lot of teams in the NFL improved during the offseason. I'm not saying the Lions didn't improve, but it's difficult when you have other teams that have improved markedly, and the Lions really didn't.
Well, I mean, in theory, I thought they upgraded a corner, and they were sort of in a position where they would be better defensively if they could keep guys healthy. And then two players that were healthy last year, two key contributors, and Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are now out. And that absolutely stinks. Then you get Terrion Arnold out. There were guys that they rolled the dice with and thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, we can finally get something out of Levi Onwuzurike or Marcus Davenport. Onwuzurike got hurt, is out. Davenport, it just looks like he's never going to be able to do anything here in Detroit. It's, I mean, it might be his last stand here in the league, quite frankly. So, yeah, I mean, in theory, because it's a cap league, you have to take calculated risks at some places and say, all right, we're going to see if we can save a little money here so we can spend the money there. But bottom line is other teams have injuries too. That's the one thing that we shouldn't forget, right? It's not just the Lions. The fact that Cowboys last week had an injured starting left tackle and the Lions took advantage of it. So, you just hope you have enough guys left standing that are wearing your uniform that can help you win a football game.
The only other question I have for you is this. If it hasn't been for the Pistons, I really wouldn't have an interest in watching the NBA. And it seems like football has been struggling a little bit with an image problem over the course of the past 2 or 3 seasons with officiating, with a lot of different things that have headlined the sports. Am I viewing this different, or am I kind of spot on here? Because I'm just not, like I said, if it wasn't for the Pistons, I wouldn't be watching the NBA. There are just some goofy things that are going on that I'm not really comfortable with in both of these sports right now.
Like what?
Well, I think the gambling aspect has come into play a little bit. I'm not comfortable with the NBA. I think everyone's tired of LeBron, and I don't think there's really any other key players that have come in to the NBA to make an extreme difference to pique anyone's interest at all. I think the Lions have been, or the Pistons have been.
Well, the Pistons being good, like Bob, the gambling thing. I mean, if the gambling thing's ruining it for you, I mean, I can't be mad at you. I mean, I think Luka and Steph Curry have been fun players to watch, but they've been players through an era where it's been easy to check out as a Detroiter. If the gambling thing is bothering you, that is something that I would hope that the league is acutely aware of. But you just heard that they just had the highest rated prime game. They just had the highest rated Thanksgiving games of all time. One of them was the highest rated regular season game of all time. If these numbers are accurate, and I have no reason to believe that they aren't, Bob, it's probably more just you, but I'm sure there are people like you. We hear from them all the time. I don't have a problem watching sports because of the gambling. I mean, in some ways, it makes me actually tune in a little bit more, and a little bit, I've discovered that for me, and this only works for me, and I'm not saying, if I put $1 down, a simple $1 down to win 89 cents on a game, I am more interested in the game. Now, that's also a way to keep myself from getting in trouble. But, that's I'm perfectly fine with this world we're living. I am. Now, some people think the NBA gambling probe has undermined the credibility of the game, and they have problems watching. And I think those things, I don't think that's a choice. People say, I'm not going to watch because of that. I think it happens instinctively. You just start to feel, I can't watch this product. I question this product. And if that's you, Bob, so be it. But me personally, hasn't affected my viewing really at all negatively. And apparently the numbers would reflect that more people are watching. 248-539-9797. It's Karsch and Anderson. Gator is out today, 97.1.